So we're shunting out of Breda now, the last stop in the Netherlands. Go backwards to head into Belgium. It's interesting, the first announcement was done in Dutch and then the second in English. And I know I keep going on about how everyone here speaks English, but it's funny. The little Dutch I learned to say was "Spree u Engels" and "Dank u wel," which George didn't have the heart to tell me I was mispronouncing both times. I kept saying "spreekt u Engel," so I had one guy who actually responded to me in English going, "What?" So George didn't have the heart to tell me that I sounded like some sort of German alien asking for people to speak English. And it's just a funny little thing. I'm also blown away by how quaint the country can seem at times. George was saying that the top crime in Amsterdam and in some of the bigger cities is bike theft. And then I said, oh yeah, sure, next is, pie theft and, thumbing your nose at teacher, you rapscallions. But, in actuality, it's probably something horrible, like sex trafficking or something. Even though, that is all legal here. So heading back into Belgium now, or into Belgium for the first time, rather. We did cross a massive river earlier, which I don't think was the Rhine. Probably no, it can't have been the Rhine. But I'll look it up later. So, yeah. See you in Belgium. So, according to my phone, we crossed into Belgium about 4 minutes ago. And we just left a place called Noordkempen, which apparently was a bit dodge, because the driver came over the intercom and he said, beware of luggage thieves, they are very active in this station, and on the platform, and on this train. It's like, all is not right with the state of Belgium. If I can mangle Shakespeare a little bit. But yeah, Noordkempen. Now we are in Belgium. I saw there's a lot of wind farms with the words "Wind for Flanders" on them, or Aspiravi rather. So yeah, now we're in Belgium. Let's see how the things turn out. So I was initially put off by the stuff about the pickpockets and things, but I think he does it for every station, so oh well. He just came on the tannoy again. He says he knows for sure that there are pickpockets on the train at the moment, so scary stuff. So this is Brussels Central. We've got the statue over there to the Great War and the Second World War. Lads with rifles too. Never forget, ladies and gentlemen, this is 2019. So yeah, this is the Central. It's pretty nice. Lots of marble, all the rest. Jesus, that was a fright. There you go, the monument to the Great War. So, while I wait for Noel or Nessa to come down and let me in, none of the bells seem to be working, these are their digs. Pretty swanky. Very old world, very... It's the EU, must be a great gig. I was asking my taxi driver why there were so many soldiers today, and he said it was because of the European summit, which of course it is, because, that time of year, elections, all the rest. But yeah, first introduction to Brussels. I literally remember nothing of the city, but I have once been here before. But yeah, here I am, waiting at a door. So close, and yet so far. Missed you, Murph. Missed you. Did you miss me? Good boy. Good boy.
It's almost become default that they're either vegetarian or vegan.
Take a look at Love Island.
You're incriminating me.
That's what that's about.
Yeah, but they don't eat any of it. They don't eat all of it as well.
Yeah, but they
Ici, c'est la Grand Place. Très très jolie. Un petit peu kitsch. This is where all the guilds were, it all says. goals. If we look closely, lads, the door is off-centre with the rest of the tower. Little fun fact. And look. Another place we went in Belgium just today, actually, was Waterloo.
Also inbred.
That's true. Now, don't quiz me on this, but I think it's around about the anniversary of the actual battle. And what they did was, you know, they got the lads all in their gear and everything, and they reconstructed part of the battle in an assault on a farmhouse. And, yeah, I mean, obviously the worry with that kind of thing is you meet the sort of weirdos who like to dress up like that and then pretend it's still those times, you know. But no, it was quite good. They had the field set up, and they had a bunch of announcers who'd talk you through what was happening in various languages. And they had all these recreationists who really committed to the part. L'organisateur déclinait toute responsabilité en cas d'accident. You know, there was one moment, well, I'll show it to you, I've got some footage of it, where some people who were dressed up as the French heavy cavalry charged.
Voilà, vous allez assister à une... Regardez bien ces magnifiques chevaux, ces magnifiques cavaliers. C'est la cavalerie lourde française.
You know, there were guys in the hussars hats, you know, the great big like bearskin hats. There were red coats as well, you know, there were muskets, there was cannon fire, that kind of thing. Very, very well crafted commitment to recreation as accurately as possible. One thing I will say though is, as we approached, so you park at one place, then you walk about 15 minutes to where they had it set up, you can hear cannon going off, and one sort of stops and has to think, you know, obviously it's fireworks, gunpowder, all the rest, but being the real thing, you know, imagine, because the battle happened over the course of about a day, so imagine, you know, being there for a whole day and knowing that that sort of noise was directed at you and watching you getting your friends blown up, because you'd hear it and then you'd sort of feel it in your chest, at least initially, then after a while you kind of got used to it. But, you know, if you know that there's the possibility of you dying, you know, that is going to be frightening, but, you know, that's not necessarily the hottest take, you know, cannon fire is scary, but, you know, it just sort of brought it home a little bit. But no, it was really, really well done, fair play to them. They get all the gear and they, you know, learn how to march and they learn how to ride horses and all the rest. And yeah, very, very well done, very well worth the time. The battlefield itself and the sort of area around it, really beautiful, really. And I think it's still working farmland. You'll see in some of the footage, you know, there's like potato and wheat and all the rest in the field still. So I think it's partially still privately owned and then privately run, but with like preservation orders on it. So yeah, Waterloo, I'd give it a look. I probably wouldn't go out of my way to go to Waterloo if like the only thing you're doing in Belgium is going to Waterloo, but definitely do give it a look. It's a fantastic place. Didn't get a chance to look at the museum though, which, you know, I was coming to Berlin, you know, this is a city of museums. So yeah, Waterloo, pretty good. Give it a go. So the verdict on Belgium is, it was great, although I think the country as a whole is a bit of a confection. What do I mean by that? So when you get in, the first thing you notice is that everything is in French and in Flemish, which, you know, it's not too surprising considering that everything on the continent so far that I've seen has been in multiple languages. So, for instance, the train from Brussels to Cologne did announcements in English, French, Dutch, and German. But I remember I was walking around. I've got some footage of it for you. Walking around the sort of the CBD, the sort of the central kind of area of Brussels, to sort of the La Grande Place is what it's called, where all the old guilds set themselves up, and they've got all these gold gilded buildings. I'll show you. I remember walking through, and I turned to my aunt and I said, is the country not a bit of a confection? That, you know, it'd be quite difficult to build a sense of national identity, because that region was controlled by, it was the Germans, well, not the Germans, but the Dutch, the Flemish, the Walloons, the French, the Spanish, all the rest. So you don't really have this enduring history of something that's uniquely Belgian, you know. Obviously all countries are constructs in their own way, but particularly somewhere like Belgium. And she said, no, they haven't really built a national identity since the 1830s. They get together over things like football, and you know, they'd probably have some sort of universal experience of the war, that kind of thing. But otherwise, it's a bit of a confection. I don't think it's, you know, it's by no means a house of cards at all. The people that were lovely, the place is clean, the place is run very well. Just a bit of a more evidently a construct than other nations would be. But otherwise, really nice place. And I had a really fantastic time seeing my aunt and uncle, who I don't see terribly often. They're staying in a lovely, lovely 4-story house in a really nice area of Brussels. And the food's fantastic. There was a lot of beer as well, beer and wine and all the rest. I didn't get to have any pommes frites. Although, you know, you can have chips anywhere, really. So, not really missing out on much. But it was great to finally see Brussels and actually, well, I'd been there twice before, but as a small kid, so I didn't really remember much of it. It's great to go back and then actually forge some real memories, you know, even if they were just sort of, you know, walking around La Grande Place, all that sort of thing. Like, we went with my cousin to go get some sneakers for him, you know, so I saw, like, the shopping district as well, which, as we have established, is the same in every city. But anyway, you know, it's just really great to see that, and really great to build those memories. So, yeah, Belgium, I'd rate it. Belgium's pretty good. So, yeah, onwards and upwards. Let's see what Germany holds. And remember, stay dandy.